Got the El Capitan here himself in Miami FC, my boy Bolu. Been playing against each other since college, honestly. My boy went to Seton Hall with the George Mason. We go way back, man. But it's been an honor to have my guy here. My guy, how you doing, man? First off, big congratulations. 300 appearances as a professional, 200 in Miami. Miami's all-time leader in appearances, man. That's big congratulations. It shows to your credibility, your durability throughout your career, man. Touching that a little bit, how do you feel about that? How's it speak to your career?
Yeah, for sure. It's something that's special to me. You know what I mean? I think a lot of times as players and myself, like you're always forward thinking, right? Like you don't take a step to appreciate things that you've done in your career, and then you look back, you're like, wow, I actually didn't even appreciate that. I think when I hit 300, it was a big deal for me, because I remember starting out my career and was like, damn, if I could get to 100, that would be crazy. And then to get to 300, it's like, wow, that's a lot of games. It's a lot of games, it's a lot of experiences. So it's definitely a proud moment for sure for me.
So then you go from, let's fast forward now to now. First off, man, being a captain, I know how it is being experiences. I mean, you turned this whole season around. You guys were last seventh in the East, or you guys are seventh in the East right now, but you guys were bottom of the table to start the season. Give us the nitty gritty, man. As the leader of this club, how have you turned this season around for you guys? I know it's only halfway through, but how have you taken over the locker room some?
Yeah, I mean, well, vice captain. Sebastian Blanco is the captain. I'm the vice captain. But I mean, look, it was a thing where it was a brand new project that they were trying to do. So we had a lot of guys coming from Argentina, a brand new staff that didn't know the league, and we had a lot of guys like have visa issues. So like they didn't come in
Gotcha.
until the last week of preseason. So it's difficult. It's a lot of moving parts, right? There's a language barrier a little bit. So like I got to learn Spanish and everything. But I think once we got comfortable with each other, football is an international language, you know what I mean? And I think we're able to get into stride. It just took a little bit of adjustment. And I was calm and I was patient because I knew we had some talent in the group. So hopefully we keep pushing and hopefully we can sneak our way into the playoffs.
What kind of leader are you? Are you a rah-rah leader? You like to talk to your players on the side? How have you grown the players' trust as you as a leader?
I think it's a little bit of mixture of both, but I would say rah for sure. I'm definitely somebody that's very passionate. You know what I mean? Like playing against each other, I am. I chat a lot on the field. I'm very emotional, so I think I carry that and I wear that on my sleeve in the game. But I'm also someone I think as I've grown a lot, people can take that the wrong way, right? Like if I'm screaming at a guy on the team and stuff, they can take it the wrong way. So I've learned to kind of also be on the side, like put my arm around guys and be like get to know them personally because at the end of the day, the more I know them personally, the more they know me, the more they don't take it personally when I'm on the field. If I'm yelling at them or whatever, they're able to receive the information and go, oh, now Bolu likes me. It's just that's just how he is on the pitch. You know what I mean? They get to know me and I get to know them. So I think it's good to have a little bit of mixture of both and not be so like one way.
Yeah, that's what I've noticed myself too, man. You need the rah-rah because you got to wake them up too, but just to, put your arms around them, get to know them in a conversation, for them to be able to pull up on you, talk to you on the side, yo, I'm struggling with this and this. It can go a long way. And I mean, it speaks to the testament of you guys been doing. Of course, I'm tracking you guys, how, like I said, how you guys turned the trajectory of your season around, man. I expect big things the rest of the year. How are you also managing bigger egos, though? Like Bill Hamid, for example, coming in with a lot of pedigree from the MLS. How do you guys manage that?
I mean, I think, look, at the end of the day, soccer is soccer, right? So no matter where you've played, no matter where you've been, we're in the same locker room at the end of the day. And I think if you show up every single day and you put in the work for yourself and they can respect you, I think the biggest thing of being a leader is make sure you get the stuff done yourself first and foremost before you try and tell anyone what to do. Right. So if you handle business on yourself, I think the respect grows a long way. And guys look at you and be like, oh wow, maybe you haven't played at the level that I've played at, but you definitely earn the right to say certain things and be a certain way too. And it's managing as well too, and understanding that like just because I wear the band sometimes doesn't mean like I'm better than the next guy, right? Like it's everybody in the locker room, and this thing is all of us in it together as one.
Right. No, that's big facts, man. And I appreciate that. You have to remind players like that as well too, and it's good to have more experienced players like Bill. I mean, I've seen some of the saves he did saved you guys as well too in some of those games. You need that as well too, and it goes a long way too.
Yeah, no, he's been massive for us.
Let's dive into your career a bit. So you're coming from Lagos to the States. First off, talk about that transition and how that impacted you.
Yeah, it was a big transition for sure. I mean, I was 10 years old when we moved to the US, and I think it's different. It's different. It's similarities because at the end of the day, people are people, right? And we moved to New York City, which is similar to Lagos in the sense of there's a lot of people. It's a big city, right? It's a lot of hustle and bustle, but the weather was definitely a big thing for me, like adjusting to the winter and the cold and stuff. I spoke differently. I'm coming from a kind of different culture where Nigeria, it's a community so big in Nigeria. Everybody bonds together and like, bro, your doors are open and people are able to walk into your place or whatever. And in the US is quite not like that. You know what I mean? Because you have so many different types of people. So it was kind of learning that trade. But the biggest thing that helped me adjust to the US was soccer. I think once I started playing, I started making friends. I started meeting different people and realizing how much similarities we have and like being kind of comfortable in the US. But I think, yeah, it was definitely a difficult transition like it should be. But I think soccer definitely helped me get more comfortable.
Because that was my next question for you. Did you have the support system around you? You know, I know ball especially helps, but you're in New York City, the zoo pretty much, you know, and you're dealing with the nuances where you don't have the community anymore, door-to-door relationships as you just mentioned as well too. As an athlete, I mean, I remember in DC you had to take the train a good amount of times from where you are to DC. I know you had to take the train as well too. A lot of people also fall through the cracks as well too because that's a tough environment. How mentally, if you can go back in time a little bit, how mentally did you persevere and just stay disciplined to stay on track to become, as we're going to touch about, a pro eventually?
Yeah, I mean, look, at the end of the day, call it delusion, call it self-belief, call it whatever you want to call it. I always told myself I was going to be a pro since a kid, right? Like everything else that happened in my life was just, oh, that's just happening right now. But the main goal was for me to be a pro. I didn't know how it was going to look. I didn't know how I was going to get there. I didn't know who was going to help me. I didn't know who was going to sign me. But since I was a kid and since I remembered, I wanted to be a pro. I wanted to be a pro like that. That was always what drove me. And I think nothing else matters, right? Like when other kids wanted to go out or do different things, and I saw like a lot of my friends getting sidetracked and getting caught up in the city. Like for me, soccer is what kept me focused because that's something I wanted so bad. And I enjoyed every aspect of it, right? I learned to fall in love with taking the train 3 hours to go to practice, right? Like I learned to fall in love with those rides, and I found little things to get me excited. So when I get on the field, I can make the most of it. So I think it was something that wasn't difficult for me because it was something I wanted so, so deeply and so passionate. I was so obsessed about, and like nothing was going to get in my way to stop me, you know?
Speaks to your longevity now. 12th year into the league now, man. All these minutes, all these appearances, bro. It speaks to longevity into that. How does Red Bull come about? And a lot of people can't even make MLS academies, and you see the USL's growing as well too. But coming from yourself, especially coming from Lagos, how are you now transitioning to Red Bull's academy?
Yeah, so the first couple of years we moved to the US, I actually didn't play soccer because
Mm.
I had responsibilities at home. You know, it was my mom taking care of everything. She was working a lot, so I had to look out for my sister. I had to do certain things. I had to go to school, so it was difficult.
Mm.
And then my brother started playing for a team. He started playing for his high school team. He met someone on his team who took him to his club team called the Brooklyn Patriots. They had a younger age group. My brother took me to try out after a couple of years at Brooklyn Patriots. And then I started playing with them a lot of Caribbean. I learned a lot of stuff from those guys and the coach there, Vincent Mark, may soul rest in peace. He helped me a lot as well. And then we actually found an ad for Red Bull because Red Bull was going from Metro Stars to New York Red Bulls. So when they were going from Metro Stars to New York Red Bull, they had the whole kind of academy layout coming in, and they held tryouts. So we found an ad online that said tryouts. We signed up for the trials, and me and my brother took the train 3 hours, got on a bus, walked on the highway, and I got my chance. I got my chance to do my stuff, improve myself. And luckily, Stan Lemberg was a coach at the time. Shout out to him as well. Like he believed in me. You know, like even though I wasn't the best kid there, I was definitely not the most technical or the most. But he saw something in me and believed me. He drove me and gave me an opportunity to join the Red Bulls, and honestly, it changed my life.
Need that coach to take a chance on you. But hold on real quick. We're going to backtrack because you touched on something that a lot of people don't even know. And I just want to bring this to the light as well, too, especially with the African culture, Caribbean culture, same thing. Responsibilities at home. You took a couple years off from playing ball. My mom actually didn't even let me play sixth grade sports at all to focus on school, just little things like that. Caribbean background, same way, focus on school first. But a lot of that can also take away from the sport and the love from it. But just touch a little bit about the responsibility at home and how important that is, especially to keep you grounded, but especially within the African culture as well.
Yeah, for sure. Anyone knows Nigerian people, the first and foremost thing is education. Education is always a big thing. And like when we were coming to the US, I didn't come here to play soccer. My mom made me know that from early because I was playing soccer in Nigeria. We were on a team. And when we came here, she's like, look, you're coming here to earn an education to have opportunity, a better life. And that was pretty clear on from when we came here. And honestly, we got here, I had to do stuff around the house. I just didn't have the time. I had to help my little sister. I had to take her to school, take her to daycare, pick her up. I had to be a full grown adult at 10 years old because my mom needed the help. You know what I mean? She's raising three kids on her own because my dad passed away when I was young. So I think those responsibility came first and foremost before anything. You know what I mean? So it's something I had to do. It's something I wouldn't change, honestly, because it's a part of me. And I think it's important. Those are important lessons that you got to learn as a man at a young age.
It's really important though, because it brings that discipline even to your adulthood. It brings your discipline even to your career and your structure as well too, and your longevity. It speaks to who you are today. And I wouldn't change any of those things in my life as well. So I'm probably gonna do the same thing to my kids, just because you gotta know sometimes some things are deeper than soccer within itself too, you know. And that's why I wanted to touch on as well too. Now transition to Red Bulls. Did you get a scholarship? How are you able to then join this team and afford it? Because the pay to play system's been hurting us for some time, and a lot of people can't even afford to play ball too. So how does this opportunity? I know it came about, but how are you able to do this?
Oh, for sure. I mean, look, I tried out for the team. Funny enough, I went to the first trial in Giant Stadium, the old Giant Stadium back in the day. I did well, I thought, and I went to the second one, did well, and then I made the those two ones ended. I couldn't go to the third trial because my brother had his trial for the old age group, and it was a different area because it was different coaches.
Yeah.
So my brother had to follow me on the train just because I didn't know how to do it myself. So I didn't go to the third trial. So my brother's like, "Look, we'll bring you back next year. Like, let's focus on me and this year," which is totally fine. So the coach wound up emailing me telling me I made the next round of cuts, even though I missed the third trial. I thought I was done, right? So as soon as I found that out, we actually found that the day of. Crazy story. It's crazy how life works now that I'm thinking about it. My brother made an email for me simply just for the trials. That day, for some reason, it was like a Sunday morning. I was like, yo, let me check the email. He's like, what do you want to check the email for? Like, you're not going back on the trial, so why do you need to see it? I was like, I don't know. Just let me log in. You know, me being a kid, I log in, they're like, oh, you've made the next round of trials, and the trials are today. I'm like, I look at the time, I'm like, yo, do we have enough time to get there? Because it took me 3 hours. My brother's like, we have just enough time. We got to leave right now. We left. I get there. Stan, he pulls me aside and he's like, oh, why'd you miss the last trial? And I told him, like, look, my brother's trying out for this team. It's difficult for me. It's a 3 hour drive. Like, I don't come from a lot of money. Like even paying for the train is difficult. He's like, look, I really like you. I see something in you. Just keep coming. If you can commit to me, we'll give you a scholarship where you don't have to pay to play,
Mm.
and commit to me and I'll commit to you, kind of thing, and he looked out for me, you know what I'm saying? And that was a big deal. That helped me out a long way.
Man, I appreciate you sharing that story, man. Those things go a long way, and I hope there's more opportunities for kids because just like yourself, a diamond in the rough who needs opportunity, a baller who gets an opportunity, and now look how much you did. We're gonna touch on now. You signed pro with Red Bulls too now, and I want to know how that transition as well too. But it's a testament to the discipline at home to now transition to your adulthood too, man. So I'm glad this coach took this opportunity because we need more coaches to take opportunities and more players, and we need to provide more resources. How does
For
Red Bull
sure.
2 come about? Obviously, it's a dream and destiny to become pro, but the organization where they're looking at you as you build yourself up in the ranks, how does the talks come about?
Yeah, so I mean, Red Bull, after you go to college, some guys obviously go to college. Back then we didn't have so many homegrowns. We had a few, but not as much as they're doing it now. So we would have a summer team, like a PDL team, or I think one year we played MPSL, like 2 years we played MPSL in the summer. We would play that, and they would bring like select guys that they still liked, you know what I mean, and kept track in college. They called me back for the first 2 years. So after my freshman year, I came back. After my sophomore year, I came back. After my junior year, which would be the third year, because after your senior year, like you graduate, right? So
Right.
after my junior year, I actually decided not to go back to Red Bull because I was like, look, like, are you guys, what's the plan for me? Like, are you guys going to sign me? Are you going to draft me? Like, what's going on? Because they had a lot of talent, and rightfully so. The response I got wasn't great, and I was like, look, I'm going to go and play PDL. They played MPSL that year. I was like, I'm going to go play PDL with another club and whatever, whatever. They announced that they were having Red Bull 2. So John Warnock, who was the head of Red Bull, the head coach of Red Bull 2, so he actually had helped coach me a little bit while I was in the academy because he retired and stopped playing. So he came to academy. He was kind of familiar with me, and I played for him in the summer. For the first summer I played with him, he was the head coach of the 23s. He wound up being the head coach of Rebel 2. He came to a couple of my college games and stuff. My senior year, he'd been kind of keeping track of me. We'd been talking, um, and he shot me a text message. He's like, "Hey, look, Bolu, like we're having Rebel 2. I would like to invite you to preseason and see if you can earn a contract. Like I think you have a chance at the pros." And it was perfect because my school was right up the street. It was a 25-minute drive. I was able to finish up my degree and still be in preseason with the first team, with the USL team. So that was a big deal for me as well.
And this is 2015, right? To 15, 16, I remember. Yep, I remember, right, probably right into your senior year. But if the opportunity was provided for you to go to Red Bulls 2 earlier, would you have gone instead of going to college? Why did you? I mean, obviously it's tough because it wasn't around. It's either you go to the first team or you go to college. So I know it's probably why you kind of steered towards college. But if it was around, would you have gone college or pro?
I think I would have went to college because of my family. I think for my mom, college and education was such a big deal. And it was a moment I wanted for her because I seen how much sacrifice she'd put into her kids and moving us here and everything that she'd done on a day-to-day basis is I wanted that moment for her to see me walk across the aisle and graduate. And I looked at it like this. I was like, if I'm gonna be a pro, I'm gonna be a pro, right? It's gonna happen, and I want to be a pro, and I'm gonna do it. But I wanted to go to school, obviously, for myself to learn, and the education bit that bit's good as well too. But I think for my mom and for my family, it was a big deal, and it's something I wanted to accomplish. So I don't think I would have opted out of school to go pro, especially back then. Maybe now it's a little bit different. I'll give it a think, but I think I was always going to go to college.
After you signed with Red Bulls 2, you bounced to 7 different USL teams. Miami and Nashville are the only ones you stayed at more than a year. How
Yes.
tough was that transitioning each and every year to different clubs mentally?
No, it was tough. It definitely is tough. Like packing up your stuff and moving. It's a lot of sacrifice. Sometimes I'm far away from my family, and sometimes I've been close to my family, and it's just very volatile. Obviously, like you know how it is in this league. You have 1 year guaranteed, and after that, it's up in the air. You know. But I always looked at it like every single year, you got to be the best you can be. You got to be as consistent as possible. You got to play as much as possible, and you got to fight every single day because that contract the next year is not guaranteed. It's not guaranteed. And yeah, I've bounced around a lot of clubs, and I've been in a lot of different places. I think I've shown certain qualities that I think teams and coaches believe that it's necessary for their roster, and I've been useful for them, and I'm grateful for that.
Because you have such big goals, you're able to, persevere and push through.
I think it's my goals. I'm a pretty stubborn person, and when I have my mind set on something, and I want to accomplish something, and I want to do something, and I have that passion and that motion towards something, there's not a lot of things that could get in my way to stop it. So I think for me personally, that's what's driven me every single day. It's been internal, like it's been everything. Like of course, my support system is there for me when I need it, but A's got to be internally first because if you don't want it, eventually that fire will die out and it's going to fade out. And I think I've always wanted it from day one. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. That internal is bigger than the external, then, huh?
1,000%, 1,000%. And eternal is what drives you. That light, that fire in you. That's what's going to take you the long way. You know, on those really tough days, the days maybe you don't want to train, maybe you're tired, you didn't get enough sleep, things aren't going well, you're not in a good mental space, right? Like you're dealing with some injuries, some soreness, to travel, or maybe you're not playing as much as you want to be playing. You know, you're on the bench, you're going through a tough streak. What's
Yep.
going to wake you up every single morning to give 100%, right? To keep pushing yourself, to keep going. 10 months is a long time, and I think it's the internal of me wanting this so bad. I think that's what's been keeping me going.
If you don't mind, do you mind sharing some of your goals personally?
I think right now, I think my biggest goal that's right in front of me is making the playoffs. I've made the playoffs every single year in my career for 8 years,
Wow, wow.
and I've missed out on the playoffs these last 2 years. One with El Paso last year, and a year before that with Miami, we missed out on the last day by a point. So I think for me right now, it's making it back into the playoffs because like those 8 years I was making the playoffs, it was almost like I always thought postseason, right? Like I never saw myself being on a team that didn't make the playoffs. You know, so it was crazy to me when it first happened. And then next year with El Paso, we finished bottom of the West, and I was like, wait, hold on a minute, what's going on? You know, so I think that's a big goal, and that's a big thing that's driving me right now. Is getting back into the postseason, and I think for Miami as well, Miami, the club has missed out on 2 years they haven't been in the postseason. So I think that's a big thing that's driving me is getting back into the postseason this
I like that a lot, man. And that's what I was going to touch on. What can we expect from Miami? And, just little things as well. Touch on the USL. You've seen the growth as well from way back 2015 to now. We got the Jägermeister Cup, D1's coming through. Talk about a little bit from your eyes, the growth of the USL, what we can expect from Miami as well throughout the rest of the year.
Yeah, I think the growth of the USL is tremendous. I remember like my rookie year. I think that was your second year in the league,
Yeah.
and we played against each other, Richmond and Red Bull too. Like how much different was it, right? Like even the crowds, the surfaces we're playing on, and the way teams looked, and just the everything from on the field to off the field, the marketing behind it, right? Like how much the USL has grown is incredible, incredible. And I think the league is only going to keep getting better. It's
Yeah.
only going to keep growing. And from us, I think, look, you're going to find a team that's there's a lot of experience. For one, there's a lot of kind of like guys from Argentina that maybe the USL doesn't know as well, and I think they're finding their feet in the league and they're making a name for themselves as we go by. So I think you find it's a roster and got a lot of guys that have a lot to prove. You
Yeah.
know, they have a lot to prove. So I think there's that little bit of chip on our shoulders from that. And I think when we start off the season 0-4, everybody looked and said, "Wait, hold on a minute. This is the same Miami as last year." You
Right.
know, because
Right.
the
Right.
team was really poor last year
Right.
and had some bad results. So I think we've able to kind of like reshape that image, but that's not enough. You know, that's not enough. I think, yeah, you can do that, but if you still fall short of the playoffs, whether you feel it's last or you're 1 point off the playoffs, you still didn't make it, right? So is that a successful season? So I think you'll find guys that are going to push and try and turn this thing around and try and keep going in the right direction. So I think that's the biggest thing for us right now.
I like that. I feel good hearing from the leader himself too, man. I feel good, and I expect big things for the rest of you guys. Lastly, touch on us real quick though. You touch on the mental fortitude, the mental aspect. You have your own brand called the Unspoken Thoughts. Talk to us what that is, how that came about, and what your intentions are with that.
Yeah, I mean, I've always enjoyed writing. Since I was a kid, I wasn't great at math. I realized that like pretty quickly, like seventh, eighth grade, and I enjoyed writing. It's funny because one of my teachers back in high school, it was a computer class, a tech class, and I wouldn't like pay attention or do that well in his class. But at the end of every semester, he would tell us like, write me 6 papers and it'll make up 6 of your assignments. So I didn't like the tech stuff that much. So I was like, you know what? I'll just write the papers because I enjoy writing. And I remember my first time I did the papers for him, I wrote it in a very, very unique way. And he came to me the next day and he was like, yo, whatever you got going on, keep working on that because I really enjoyed reading that. And that's like so, so special the way you write. And I was like, I just thought it was just something that came so natural to me. I didn't think anything of it, you know? So on and off, I would write things kind of in my notes. I think when I'm going through really difficult periods and I need to kind of thoughts come and emotions flow, I'll go on my notepad or like I'll grab a pen and I'll write some stuff just for me. I will share with people close to me. And as time gone on, I got more comfortable with sharing kind of things that I write and things that I'm feeling. I've gotten big into philosophy and just looking at life like a way. I think it's kind of like my personality away from soccer, right? Like contemplating and motivating to have different thoughts because I think people can always use words, right? I think the words that people read and internalize the words that we speak, and I think communication is such a big, big, big thing in this world that gets overlooked sometimes. So I think with unspoken thoughts, for me, it was just a way to kind of motivate people, right? Like kind of motivate people, make people think deeper a little bit, because those are things that I do and I enjoy myself. And I think I try and keep the quotes kind of short because I know today people's attention span aren't as long and people don't like to read long things, So something cool maybe you can read, and if it gives you a good feeling, you can post on your story or something like that. So that's kind of like my idea behind it now. But I think in the future, for me, I would love to write a book further down the line and publish a book. When that's going to happen, how that's going to look, I don't know. Like I said, I'm stubborn and I'm going to make sure it gets done. I just don't know the timeline for that right this second.
When you get this book done, because you're definitely gonna write a book, and we need more athletes' perspective with that, man. I appreciate you giving us an insight, my bro. Because I like that account, my guys. Definitely check this out. Support my man, what he's doing. Definitely gives you great insight from the athlete's perspective and just motivation to keep going too, man. Hey, and last thing for us, you got to give us your top 7 aside USL team of people you have played against, you've seen, whatever, just in general, but your top 7 USL side.
Love that. I love
7
that.
aside.
Okay. Keeper. It's going to take me a little bit,
Yeah, yeah, yeah. No, you're good.
Okay. So is it current USL guys that have come
Old,
through?
past, and current
Okay.
that you've experienced.
I think keeper, I go Jamali Waite from El Paso.
Mm.
I'll put him in goal. What formation? Okay, I can pick whatever formation. My striker is Daniel Rios.
Mm.
In the middle, I'm going Speedy Williams. Libo Moloto is my 10. How many is that? That's one. That's the 10. That's three. Keeper is four. So I got
Or
three more. So, okay, yeah, I go Libo, Rios, Jamali,
Speedy in there too.
Speedy. So how many do I need now?
Yeah, 4. 3 more.
23 more. So that's probably my back line, is it?
That's your midfield mostly, and your striker.
I need a what?
You have Rios as the striker, Williams and Loboto as the midfielders. Defenders, one more midi.
I need defenders. Defenders, let me think. Defenders. Defenders, I think I like Paddy Barrett. I rated him. You know what? I go Callum Chapman-Page.
Who?
Callum Chapman-Page. Center back.
Oh, yeah. I know you're talking about. Yep.
Yeah. Callum. Uh, and then what else am I? What else? What else am I missing?
Another defender. One more midi.
Okay. A left-footed defender. Left-footed. If I need someone who can get up a little bit, you know, I'm trying to think. That's difficult to come across. You know, I go Paddy Barrett. He's right-footed, but I'll go Paddy Barrett and Callum. Speedy. I go Speedy.
One more.
And then one more midfielder. Let me go for like someone who's a little bit attacking. Go 1v1. This is tough. I need some goals in there as well, too, you know? Libo can give me some goals. Rios can give me some goals. Wingers. Need one more. This is tough, bro. I'm going through my USL catalog.
I know. Way back, too. This is decade plus.
I gotta think of everybody, bro. I gotta think of everybody. This is a great question, by the way. It's a great question. I'm trying to think. Winger. I need somebody who's one-on-one. You know who I liked? I like Mishigalusa. He's good. He's good because he can give me a little bit, you know. And yeah, I'll go. I think because I need someone that could, you know, get up and down a little bit.
That's final.
You know, I'll do this. I go Speedy. And Malloy. And then I'll play actually Bruno Lapa with Rios up top and the ones I named in the back.
So, Lebo still or no?
No Lebo. I'm sorry. I had to change it up a little bit.
Okay. You said Malloy?
Yeah, Malloy.
From where again?
He's at Charleston right now.
Oh, that Malloy. Oh, yeah.
It's tough, bro. I like Kyle Jennings too as a striker. I love Kyle Jennings. But I like Rios though. Rios.
Lapa from Memphis?
Lapa from Memphis, yeah.
I like that. All right, so we got Jamali, Rios, Lapa, Speedy, Malloy, Callum Chapman-Page, and Patty.
Yeah, I think that's a solid team.
That's a solid team, man. I like that, bro. That's a lot of experience right there. We had to go way back for that, man.
Yeah, I had to pick a couple of the archives, you know?
Hey, but we appreciate you hopping on the show. Last thing, you have a message for the fans, message for the upcoming youth who wants to follow your footsteps, or even upcoming pros who wants to be just like you?
Yeah, I think for the fans, thank you. Thank you for all the support. I think any fan, whether you support Miami, whether you support any team in the USL, it goes a long way. I think a lot of guys in this league lay a lot of passion out in this game. You know what I mean? We sacrifice a lot, and like whoever supports this team, it goes a long way. The support goes a long way. And for the youth, my message is always believe in yourself. That's the biggest thing you can do. Because if you don't believe in yourself, why should somebody else believe in you and take a chance on you? You know? And I think while you believe in yourself as well, too, you need to put the work in to match it. You need to put the work in to match it. I think that's the biggest thing. Talking is one thing, believing in yourself is one thing, but when the action matches it and you put in the work, that's all you can do. And I think good things happen to people who do those things.
Amen. Y'all heard it from the vet himself. Y'all check out Miami. They're gonna make clouds. They're gonna do big things. Check out the cabin as well too. Follow his Unspoken Thoughts brand as well too. They're doing big things with that. And stay tuned for your friends for more. Talk to y'all soon.
Appreciate you. Thank you.